Hey guys, okay, so um, today was pretty good. Jocelyn actually spent some time with friends today and hung out with her boyfriend and his family and stuff like that. And spent the night at a girlfriend's house the night before, which was really nice. Gave us a moment to have, we usually do like couples night or whatever, date night on Friday nights. And but anyway, so it gives me a moment to breathe and I only let her, be around people that understand what's going on with her and will call me or whatever. But anyways, today I kind of wanted to talk about the grief process that we went through when Jocelyn was diagnosed um, with Tourette's by a general doctor. Um, like I said, I did the last video that I did. It's kind of long, but it's like the whole process that we went through from diagnosis to now, or actually not even diagnosis to now, birth to now, birth to now, um, and the things we didn't catch, and how it makes sense now. But anyways, when Jocelyn was diagnosed, we went through sort of I like to call like a grieving process. Um, as parents, we all want something wonderful for our kids. We have all these aspirations for them and hopes and dreams for these children, and you want them to get into a good college, and you want them to be able to take care of themselves, and you want them to be creative and funny and find love and be able to have families and all of these things. And then something like this happens where this type of an illness affects all of those things. It affects everything. It affects her social life. It affects her education. It directly affected her ability to control her body, to control her to control her actions, her vocalizations, all that stuff. The worst part of this illness is that she has no control, none, other than suppression. Um, to and how the world sees her, she has no control of that either. Not really. Not without advocating for herself or standing up for herself. And in the beginning, she was not doing that. Even I'm guilty of it. I know I am, of setting her off. um, I do have favorite tics that she does because they're hilarious and, or they're adorable, one or the other. But, in the beginning, Eric and I took it very differently one from the other. Eric was on the road. He was trying to change jobs at the time and be home more. And he was in his last week with a company, and the thing with her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend. And the worst part of it was I had to tell him what happened, and he couldn't come home off the road any faster than he was already coming off the road. He was going to be home. He had just went back when it happened. And when her major onset happened, she'd had a vocal tic the weekend before. I thought it was weird. I actually said something like, she whistled. Has she ever done that before? But 2 days later, this whole floodgate gets opened, and all I can do is videotape it and send it to him and say, ain't this kind of weird? And of course it's terrifying as a parent, but you don't want to put that on your child. You don't want to say, oh my God, this is terrifying. And, you try to be lighthearted about it and, use humor, and because if you're not laughing, you're crying, then there's no way around it. And my first thought was, of course, I did something. I did this in some way. And I had a really big struggle with that because I used to use drugs. And I worried that, it was something that I had done to her. And of course, I didn't know any better at the time. There's no proof whatsoever. There's no case. It's a genetic disorder. It is a. I didn't know that in the beginning. So your first thought is, what did I do during my pregnancy? Did I smoke a cigarette I shouldn't have? That type of thing. Did I drink something I shouldn't have? That type of thing. But being an addict in recovery, that was very scary for me that I had done this to my daughter. And then I found out that it was genetic. It was a big relief, but it didn't fix the fact that she was ticking all the time. But yeah, Eric took it quite differently than me. Like I said, I was always trying to find something lighthearted to say or whatever. With Eric, he went into like this mode of defense with, nobody better make fun of her. Nobody better do this. Nobody better do that. And he would be very standoffish. And because we didn't really know enough at the time, and I kept telling him, if Jocelyn doesn't want somebody to see her tick or say something about it, eventually she'll ask them to stop. And it took about 2 months for her to finally start putting her foot down. People say, look, you're setting me off and I'm going to have a migraine later on from ticking so much and I'm not going to be able to sleep later. So could you not, that kind of thing is like, could you not? But she had to learn how to do that on her own. There were things that she has to learn how to do. But in the beginning of that, we were very mom and papa bear about it and, that type of thing. And I'm rarely mean to other people, but if you come for my child, that's a whole other situation nobody wants. But anyways, learning more, and I guess what I really wanted to talk about was, Jocelyn had been doing baton twirling for, 9 years, and is very, very talented at baton twirling. She practiced all the time. We homeschooled her so that, not so she could, but it was easier for her to practice, not only practice perfect what she was doing at the time. And she became very advanced at what she's doing for her age. This put a complete timeout to pretty much everything. And we really did try to do all these other things. And we tried to live normally and go back to things, and it just didn't work. And we're just not to a place where that's possible right now. And not only that, we didn't know if it would be safe for others. If she's in a group of people and she has a tick and she throws her baton, like throws it, because she has no control of her hand or what her body's going to do or what she's going to say or if she's going to stop. It's very hard to put her in a group of girls and be able to tell all those moms, I guarantee you she can pull this off and she won't hurt anybody. She won't hurt herself, and she won't, for lack of better words, she won't lose for everybody. And Jocelyn just couldn't handle that, that thought of, they're depending on me to be able to do everything that they're doing, and I don't know if I can with all certainty. And with that in the back of your head, you're not going to be able to. No way. That's just too much anxiety. So we decided that wasn't something we were going to take a year off, see where we're at, and then come back to it. But even then, she tried to do private lessons, and it didn't work either. She ended up hurting herself, and then instead of, like a normal person who would not touch a spot on her body that's hurt, it's like those people that, you see a bruise and you have to touch it just to make sure it still hurts. But it's like a million times harder. It's, I'm in pain, so I tick, and then my tick causes more pain, so I tick because I'm in pain. And it just keeps going. It's a vicious cycle. The kid didn't sleep for 2 days. It was awful. But for us as parents, it was very difficult because we had all these hopes and dreams for her to be able to either teach or go twirl at a college. She had all these abilities, and this thing just kind of chopped it like a limb from your body. And it was a very hard, it was a very hard thing to deal with for both of us. But, and it got harder. It took about 2 months for us to finally have a sit down and like, look, we're just going to have to be okay with where we're at and what's going on, because it was making Jocelyn worse being anxious about it. So Eric and I had to, Jocelyn sat us down. We had a family meeting. She's like, I can't do this anymore. It was too hard. And things changed after that. When she started putting her foot down with people about what she wanted to do and what she didn't want to do, it made all the difference in the world. And it was great to see her be adamant about that, and be self-assured about what she was willing to handle and what she wasn't willing to handle. But that's pretty much it, that's it for tonight. And if anybody has any questions or wants to, private message me or whatever about it, or if you're another, Tourette's mom or Tourette's dad or whatever, and you need to talk, I'm here for you, man. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.